Today, we are ranking every single hero in Marvel Champions the card game. We're doing all 35 heroes from the core box all the way through the end of Sinister Motives. Now, this ranking is just my least favorite to most favorite hero, right? So these are my personal rankings, what I enjoy playing the most as of doing this video. And let's start off right away with number 35. If you know me, you know who this is, and that's Doctor Strange. Now, Doctor Strange is a pretty hyped up hero. A lot of people really like him. They think he's incredibly strong and incredibly good. And he's obviously strong, right? Any Mystic is going to be strong in this game. My biggest issue with Doctor Strange is that he's incredibly boring, right? You have an invocation deck and you want to run through that invocation deck. That's the entire gimmick of Doctor Strange. You focus on the deck, you get some allies out there to block for you, and then kind of play his cards when you feel like it. And that's it. That's how you play Strange, and that's what Strange is good for. So for me personally, he's not an enjoyable hero. I don't have a lot of fun, bringing him out. I didn't even think about builds with him. He's kind of whatever to me. So anyway, that's my least favorite. That's number 35, Doctor Strange. Let's move on to number 34, another super strong hero. Now, a lot of people are really hyped for, and I liked it first, and he's kind of fallen off for me, and that's Adam Warlock. Now, Adam Warlock was interesting with the whole, you don't pick an aspect, right? All of them are evenly used, right? So he uses all 4 aspects, uses them evenly. The problem with Warlock is Brian V. And if you don't know who Brian V is, he builds decks over on Marvel CDB, and he built the Wild Tutor deck for Adam Warlock. And the problem is, I think he solved Adam Warlock. I think this is the best version of Adam Warlock there is now. As more cards come out, right, he improves the deck a little bit. But the general idea of the Wild Tutor deck is probably the best deck out there. There's no real sense to do much else with Adam Warlock, and that's kind of my biggest problem with him right now. Now, to be fair, it has been brought to my attention recently that there are some good, 2-cost ally builds for Adam Warlock. That might be worth looking into. Maybe that's something I'd do in the future. I don't know. But as of right now, he's pretty far down there because I'll just run the Wild Tutor over and over and over, and I don't know. That doesn't really excite me anymore, but it's a strong deck, so. Anyway, let's go on to number 33, which unfortunately is a hero I have a love-hate, relationship with. And recently it's been kind of on the hate side. I love this hero in the very beginning, and I've just had some really bad luck with her recently, and that's Spectrum. Now, Spectrum with her energy forms, I think is a pretty cool idea. I like the way that works. The problem is I tend to get caught off guard a lot, it seems like. There's a lot of times where, I want to be in one form or the other, and I don't have a way to switch easily, right? So I'm stuck in this awkward form spot where I don't have the right cards to change, and that's it. You're just kind of, all the momentum you built up and you started having just fell to the wayside, unfortunately. So anyway, I like the idea of Spectrum. I could see her popping up on this list a bit more, but I don't know if she really will. It seems so dependent on whether I have a good time with her or not, honestly. But she's kind of a hit and miss hero for me, but I don't mind her. But anyway, 33 is Spectrum. Let's go on to 32, Hawkeye. Now, Hawkeye, I like the idea, right? I like the idea of the bow and the quiver and that you're using mostly arrows. It's very thematic. The problem with Hawkeye for me is that he's very weak, right? He has a 9 health, 9 health. And the issue with that is I have to focus on getting allies out there to block for him, right? He's not a natural blocker in himself, but then I can't focus on the arrows to get out, right? So I'm either focusing on allies or I'm focusing on arrows. I feel like I can never get him to quite work the way I want him to, which is unfortunate. Because again, I like the idea of Hawkeye. I like how Hawkeye works. But yeah, I haven't really, been able to get a good deck working with him. And I'd rather play other heroes at this point. So anyway, that's Hawkeye. Let's move on to 31, She-Hulk. Now, She-Hulk was mid-tier for me when she first came out and keeps dropping because they haven't really done much to support her, unfortunately. I wish they would. I wish they would come out more with the Gamma trait, and that would also help out Hulk. But, we'll see moving forward if that ever happens. But that's my I guess, biggest issue with her. With She-Hulk is just that there's nothing to support her. There's no real interesting builds out there with her right now. I don't know. I'm just not that fascinated by her right now. So I hope they do some stuff to support her. I hope there's some more interesting cards that come out for her. But right now, she just kind of doesn't really get played, unfortunately. I hope she does in the future. But as of right now, she just doesn't. All right, let's move on to number 30, who is arguably probably the strongest hero in the game, or at least I would say the most flexible hero, right? This hero can be played in any aspect, do it extremely well. A lot of people like him, and he is a very good hero, and that is Captain America. For me, Captain America is strong. He's a good hero. He's just one I don't play much anymore. I don't know why. I'll be completely honest. It's just every time I think about playing him, I think about kind of the same builds I've had for a while now with him, either using stun lock with him or, just kind of getting a bunch of allies out there. Every now and again, I'm kind of interested when new Avenger allies come out, and then he just kind of falls to the wayside. I don't know. It might be because there's been so much focus on Web Warrior and then before that Guardians Heroes, right? That I haven't really focused on Avenger type builds in a while. And that might be why Captain America's falling down. I don't know. I do think he'll go up eventually because he is a good hero and he is fun to play. Just right now, I just don't have a lot of interest in him, right? It's not one that intrigues me to play. So anyway, number 30 is Captain America. Moving on to 29 is a hero that was super hyped when he first was announced. I feel like a lot of people really liked him in the beginning, and then he just kind of fell off. And that is War Machine. I liked the idea of War Machine. I liked what War Machine was about, but I think he feels dated already. And the reason being is I like the idea of the ammo counters. I feel like the problem with the ammo counters is it should have been either or with ammo counters versus cost of card, right? And what I mean is some of his strongest attacks only cost 2, right? They only cost 2. They do massive amounts of damage, but they take up 4 ammo counters or whatever it is, 3 ammo counters. The problem with that is that I need to have the right amount of ammo counters and I need to have the cost for the card. There are 2 barriers to get me to play that card. And with a lot of the newer heroes, I only have 1 barrier, especially with the cost, because a lot of cost curves are kind of out of whack right now, I think. But a lot of like Miles's cards, for example, are pretty cheap and does about the same exact damage as War Machine. Now, again, War Machine's attacks do a little extra, but I don't always need that. And it's kind of hard to play some of those cards because if I don't have enough ammo counters and I have a handful of his cards, I can't do anything with them, or vice versa, right? I have all these ammo counters, but I'm just getting a bunch of other cards. I can't do anything with those ammo counters. So to me, that's the worst part in War Machine is that I feel like I'm balancing 2 economies. And it's just not worth the effort, right? He's not interesting enough. So you do need to flip down with him to kind of keep it going. But then I need to run justice with him all the time because he is so dependent on his alter ego side. So anyway, I like the idea of War Machine. Hopefully one day I'll get him to the table more. I just don't see him really moving up anytime soon, to be honest. So 29, War Machine. 28 is another really strong hero that a lot of people really liked and I think still like. And that's Venom. Venom, when he first was announced, was pretty cool because the idea of like you can have 3 weapons, right? And you can have 3 weapons as attachments, and you searched your deck in the beginning for it, but you didn't search for it, right? You discard down. The problem I have with Venom is that's the entire strategy, right? You're looking for his pistols, you're looking for his multi-gun, which they're very strong, very cool, but that's it, right? That's the entire purpose of Venom is to look for those weapons. And if you discard most of your deck to get to that point, then you have nothing else to work with until you get another bad card and then you can go through your deck again, right? But if there was a card you really wanted early on that got discarded, so long, sorry. That's it. And that kind of stinks. And that hurts, I think, Venom with a lot of his builds, right? Yes, I guess he becomes a longer type of game, or a hero that has to play a longer game, but it just doesn't always feel like that with Venom. Venom feels like he should be like fast action moving with a lot of his hero cards, but I don't know. Venom's always kind of a weird one for me. I like Venom, but I feel like I'm just discarding a lot of my cards to focus on his 3 main cards and then just playing the cards in his kit. So anyway, let's go on to another Guardian hero. We're gonna have a couple of them, and that's Nebula. The reason Nebula is low is actually maybe more or less my fault because I just don't play her enough. I really like the whole, that you get a bunch of her cards out there and you can activate them, and you activate them on your turn, or you can use a card to activate them basically twice, right? Once per action, and then once at for her turn. I like the way that works, right? I like the system. I think that's a pretty cool idea overall. I just don't play her a lot. I feel like I have this weird mental block that I think she won't be good for solo. And she's all right. She's not great, but she's not bad for solo. But I have this idea in my head that she's going to be terrible for solo, and I have no idea why. She has a good stat line. She has good cards. I just need to dive into her more and play more of her. Hopefully one day I will. Just as of right now, I don't know. So next up, we have another Guardian hero. This is probably people's favorite Guardian, I would assume, or at least up there, and that's DRAX. I really like DRAX. DRAX has probably the best pre-con deck out there. It's fantastic. It's really, really good and strong. My biggest issue with DRAX is the game wants you to play him in protection, right? With the vengeance counters. It's the thing that makes the most sense because you need him to take damage to get those vengeance counters. Playing the protection cards that, I'm sorry, you need to get attacked, not necessarily damaged, to get those vengeance counters out there. And the game wants you to play protection with him. It seems pretty obvious to me. And that's great. He works well in that, but I don't know about anything else, right? And I get kind of bored playing the same hero in the same aspect over and over and over. That's not exciting or interesting to me. So unfortunately, DRAX has fallen a lot because of that. I tried him in Justice and it didn't work well. And I tried him in Aggression and it didn't work well. Now, maybe my builds were off. I need to get better at those, which is fine. But it didn't come as naturally as Protection. Like the whole time I was thinking, man, I wish I was in Protection instead. So as far as Protection heroes goes, he's fantastic. He's probably one of the best. But for just long-term playability, it's not that exciting. I want to try new exciting things with him, and unfortunately it's just not there. So anyway, 26 is DRAX. Moving on to 25. This is my second most played hero out of all the heroes, and he's down at 25, and that's Hulk. I want Hulk to be good. I want to play more Hulk. I want him to be supported. They just don't seem to want to. Now, to be fair, actually, some of the Spider cards that just recently came out will help Hulk, so I'm excited for that. And I want Hulk to be everything he should be. It's just he feels like such a missed character. Now I'll still take him out and play a few hands with him because I think he's fun. I still think it's interesting because of the massive amount of damage you could do. Like you truly feel like you're Hulk. It's just that the game feels like it's holding you back by making you discard your cards at the end of each turn, which stinks. That's the worst part of him. But other than that, I mean, a Justice Hulk I've played, and it's actually not bad, right? It kind of works all right. It's just Hulk is Hulk, right? I don't know. Maybe one day I'll like him more when they start supporting him. Hopefully they do. But right now he's going to hang around 25. But he is a hero that could actually move up a decent amount if they start supporting him. Please, Fantasy Flight, start supporting him. All right, number 24 is Vision. Now, Vision is a hero that I like the mechanic of, solid mass and the transparent mass. Like I like that mechanic that you can switch back and forth. I think that's pretty cool. I like his cards. I think they're pretty strong. The problem with Vision to me right now, and why he's falling down my list because he was much higher, the problem with Vision for me is Vivian, right? Vivian is super strong. She's incredibly powerful, and all my builds seem to revolve around her, not necessarily Vision. And I've tried to play games where I don't focus on her, but he doesn't seem as strong, right? It feels like I'm missing something and I should just be playing more Vivian, right? So he kind of is starting to feel a little flat to me, right? That the entire build just revolves around how can I make Vivian better. Now, that's not the worst thing in the world, but a lot of times it has to do with just running leadership, right? Get the cards to support Vivian and move on. I've tried it in Aggression and Protection and Justice, and it's fine, but again, I'm just focusing on Vivian. So I'm just picking cards out of those aspects that will support her. So anyway, I don't know if Vision would necessarily move up. I think he's pretty good where he is right now because I do like, every now and again taking him out and playing with him. But I don't know if he'll really move up unless they start supporting Android, which maybe they will, but we'll see. Anyway, let's do number 23, who is a hero who has been continuously climbing the ladder on my ranks, and that is Iron Man. You see, Iron Man at the beginning I felt like was really handicapped because it was really hard to get to a 7 hand size, and now as more tech cards keep coming out and we have other heroes that kind of build out kind of like he does, but probably better. But anyway, Iron Man I think is a really fascinating hero now because there are more tech cards, right? You can do more with him. You don't have to just focus on protection with him. He's becoming interesting, and I think he's more fun. I think because of these cards, right, he's more useful in solo, right? I think that was the big problem for me is that I couldn't play him a lot in solo. Now there's more tech cards. I can play him more solo. So he started near the bottom. He keeps moving on up. I think he'll keep moving up, to be honest. I see Iron Man continuously moving up these ranks. We'll see, you know, in the long term if that's actually what happens. But I enjoy Iron Man. I think it's a lot of fun. So, all right, that was 23 was Iron Man. 22 is another hero that's been moving up, and that's Black Panther. Now, Black Panther, I didn't initially like because I felt like you had to run protection with him all the time because of his natural retaliate that's on his cards. He never had like that overpowering strong card, right? A lot of these heroes, especially early on, had like a 7 or 8 damage card. Black Panther didn't have that. Black Panther is a longer game hero, right? You have to play a longer game to really get the most out of him, I feel like. And since I've been focusing on that, I think he's gotten better for me. I've understood him better. I can play him in different aspects. He feels more like a Captain America now to me, where I don't have to just focus on one aspect. He feels very well-rounded now that he can do any aspect well and do it well in solo, do it well in multiplayer. He might have always been like this. I couldn't figure it out for the longest time. But I really enjoy him, right? I really enjoy Black Panther. I think he's pretty cool. So anyway, at 22, he's probably going to hang out there for a while unless they do some more cards to support him. I don't know if they will, but if they do, he'll move up. But I don't see him going that much further down. Maybe a little bit, but not a lot. So anyway, let's go on to number 21, Rocket Raccoon, who is one that started pretty low on my list and then has moved up because as more Guardian packs came out, he got better. One of the unfortunate things with the Guardians box, besides Ronin, obviously, was that Rocket and Groot needed a lot of cards that came out after the fact, right? There are certain cards, like One Way or the Other or something else, that help those heroes, right? The Guardian cards that came out, but they weren't available yet. So they felt underpowered and weak. And I think this was a big problem early on with Guardians. And unfortunately, that kind of put this weird taste in a lot of people's mouths, where I see lists all the time that people are like, I don't like Groot. I don't think he's good at all. And I don't like Rocket because I don't think he's good at all. Like, or he's multiplayer only. Rocket is really strong solo now. And Groot hasn't shown up on this list for a reason, because recently, I think I've gotten him to work really well in solo, and I'm having a great time playing him. So we'll get to him later. But as far as Rocket goes, I like him. I think he's good. I think he's enjoyable. I like his mechanic. And again, he started really low because there was not a lot of support for him. I feel like early on with the Guardian cards they gave us, as more and more came out, he got stronger and stronger and got a lot more interesting. All right, we are now in the top 20. So number 20 is honestly a hero that used to be my top 5. And she's just sliding further and further down. Now, part of it is I played so much of her that I'm basically building the same deck over and over. And this is GAMORA. Now, GAMORA, the problem is it feels like you either play her one of two ways. You focus on aggression and have a few justice cards, or you focus on justice and have a few aggression cards, depending on what villain you're facing. And I'm just playing cheap events over and over and over because that's her whole gimmick, right? Play a cheap attack event so that her thwarting is stronger, right? Either on her hero cards or that she just does one, right? Or vice versa, right? Do a cheap thwarting event so that you have a stronger attack and you also ping 1 damage, right? And that's it. And it feels like there's not a lot out that's come out to support her. I'm playing more or less the same exact thing over and over and over, the same deck. And I don't know, it kind of stinks. It's just not as much fun as before. And I've tried her in a leadership build, trying something a little bit different, but then her main mechanic is kind of gone. So she's definitely, I think, strong. I think she can be enjoyable, but she kind of is doing the same exact thing over and over. So unfortunately, she's just falling down my list. And I also played a lot of GAMORA. She's a top 5 played hero for me. So I've just played so much that I think personally, I just need a break. So that means while she's going down, I do think eventually she'll go back up, but I don't know. Probably not anytime real soon, but I do see her coming back eventually. I mean, she's not going to be down and at the bottom, to say the least. So anyway, that was number 20. Number 19 is one of our newer heroes, and just my least favorite hero. This hero is going to keep sliding, and that's Nova. Nova, I like the idea of the whole wild mechanic thing, right? A wild card counts as 2 resources for his personal cards. I think it's cool. I like the whole helmet thing. I think all that's fun. I think it's fine. I think there's a hero that already came out that does him better than he does. And like cards like Unleash Nova Force, I think it is. I think it works great for like a large multiplayer table, but it doesn't work great for solo, or at least I've never really gotten to work that well. I don't know. I feel like I played a bunch of Nova, like 10 games or so, and then I have no real interest. When I made this list, I still liked him enough to put him in the top 20, but I think he's gonna keep moving down. I don't see a reason to keep playing him, to be honest. He's kind of falling flat for me. So anyway, that's number 19 is Nova. Number 18 is my wild card hero, as I like to refer to him, and that's Star-Lord. So Star-Lord's whole thing, right, is that you can take down a face down encounter card to make a card cost up to 3 less, right? So hopefully you're using a 3 cost card or a 4, so it only costs 1. But anyway, I like Star-Lord, but it feels like there's 1 or 2 builds that work with him, and that's Rush Aggression and kind of like a Guardian's Leadership build. Now, my Rush Aggression deck can take out Ronin with him. Now, it doesn't work all the time, right? The success rate isn't super high, but it's not bad. But yeah, he's one of those things where I enjoy playing him. I think he's fun. I do want to try him in a Justice build because I think he could work, and I've kind of toyed around with it. But I still like his mechanic. I think his mechanic is fun. I think it's a fun little idea of, okay, you don't want to do this every time, right? You don't want to give yourself 2 bad cards every single round. So you have to kind of pick and choose when it makes sense to use, his main skill of making a card cheaper. It's not going to be all the time. Sometimes it's when you make that final push, right? You're like, no, I need to get these cards out here and I need to do that action in order to do it. So I still like that little bit of a puzzle that there is for it. I think that's pretty cool and interesting and fun, but I don't know how long he stays up there doing that. So we'll see. But as of right now, I mean, it's a solid top 20 hero for me, and I really enjoy him. So that was number 18. Let's go to 17, Spider-Man Peter Parker. Now, I really enjoy Spider-Man, and I think he's always been fun to play. I think he makes the most sense in protection. Aggression and leadership and justice kind of work with him, but again, he's so focused on protection. But he's a lot of fun in protection. He's a lot of fun. I've always been a Spider-Man fan, but he just, I don't know. I think he'll float around here for a while because I do like playing him, but again, he's another one that just focuses on protection, even though he does it really well and it's really fun, and it doesn't feel like I need to only focus in on his cards, right? I can focus on some of the new protection cards that are coming out to make him more interesting. But yeah, he's just one of those weird heroes that I enjoy playing when I play him, but he kind of just doesn't get pulled out of the box as much as he probably should. And a part of that is now because of all the new Web Warrior cards, and that means we're going to move on to number 16, Spider-Man, but Miles Morales. Now, originally, Spider-Man Miles Morales was pretty low on the list for me because when they did his pre-con deck, it was half him, half shield. And now he's moving up because he is a Web Warrior and a champion. And the champion cards that are out there are phenomenal. The Web Warrior cards that are out there are phenomenal. And I think he's actually going to keep moving up my list because there's fun combinations you could do with those cards, right? Focus on them equally. Focus on one, focus on the other. There's some really cool stuff you can do. And his cost curve, I think, is borderline broken because he's so cheap, right? All his cards are cheap to get out there. And Arachno Bags, you can do 1 to 8, right? 1 cost for 8 damage, especially with Steady, because Steady works in his favor. It's kind of insane, right? It's kind of insane. He's incredibly strong with what he can do. He can move really fast between Alter Ego, get back to Hero with his Ready Up card and switch. He's a really good hero. He's really, really fun. I think he'll keep moving up because, again, he's well balanced enough that he can work well in any aspect as well. That's another big thing for me. I want your heroes to work in a bunch of different aspects. I think he does that pretty darn well. So I really like Spider-Man Miles Morales. I see him actually moving up and Peter Parker moving a bit down. So, all right, number 15 is a hero that I haven't played a lot recently, but I still really enjoy his gimmick and his mechanics, and that's Quicksilver. I like Quicksilver readying up. I think it's pretty cool. I like his hero kit. I like that he works really well in protection. Nelson has a really good protection deck that's been shared. But he works well in protection. He works well in aggression. He works pretty well in justice. And I've never really done leadership. He might work well in that. But I feel like he's pretty well balanced between all those things. Depends on what you want to focus on. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a fun way to play him. And I like the mechanic, right? I like the mechanic of readying up and whatnot. So Quicksilver, I'm a big fan of. He'll probably stay around in the top 15, maybe bump down a little bit, bump up a little bit, somewhere in there. But I don't see him getting crazy high. He's probably not a top 10 hero for me at any point. So, all right, number 14 is one of the, I still think, most interesting heroes, and that is Ant-Man. I love the big, tiny mechanic, right? I think it's really cool. I think it's a fun way that the game works. Um, yeah, I really like it. I really, really, really like Ant-Man in general. He works in pretty much every aspect, right? His kit is strong. He's a well-balanced hero overall. We're getting to the point now in this list where I really enjoy all these heroes a lot, and it's kind of getting nitpicky of what I like to play and what I don't like to play. For Ant-Man, there's another hero that has a similar mechanic who we haven't seen yet. That when I decide between the two of them, that other one gets picked more often. So we'll talk about them at that point. But Ant-Man's a very strong hero. Obviously, very, very strong hero. Very enjoyable hero to play. He's gonna float around here. Just let's be honest. Ant-Man's gonna float around here, but he is good overall. So that was 14. 13 is a hero that is shooting up the charts, and it makes me so excited, and that is Thor. I think they did such a great job with Thor of, you know, having the cards in Valkyrie to really like push him up, right? Those Val cards really pushed him up. They fixed a lot of issues that he had. Now do that with Hulk. They fixed a lot of issues that they had, or he had. And I think he's really enjoyable to play. And because of his you know, high hit points, right? And what he can do with that, with what is it, 14 hit points. I think that's really, really great, because now you have cards with Spider that can, you know, help out Thor. Right now he gets steady. You know, they're the cards that ready him up. Everything that's out there for now. They continue to support Thor, which I think is fantastic. I think it's great. And yeah, I've really been enjoying him. He's no longer just a multiplayer hero. He's a very strong solo hero. I've done aggression with him. Obviously, it works well. I've done a ally swarm with him that works surprisingly well, because you just have them block while he's just hitting from the background. It works great. Justice works fine. It's kind of weird, but it works. A basic Justice deck. And protection I haven't done yet. That's on the list of things to do with Thor. But I really like Thor, and I hope they continue to slowly come out cards that keep improving Thor. So number 13, Thor. Number 12, Spider-Woman. She is so strong. She's so good. She's so much fun. The whole idea of, you know, being able to choose the two aspects, right? I like that more than Adam Warlock's 4, because okay, now there's more combinations there. They have to be even. I like that. I like that her hero kit has each aspect in it, so it allows you to pump up, you know, how strong she could become. I think it's a fun little puzzle that you play that's still interesting to this day, especially with, it looks like for X-Men they're gonna not work on, but they're gonna, you know, lean into balancing out the aspects of like two should work together, you know, all that fun stuff. But I think with her, the fact that you can have aggression and protection work together, right? You can have justice and leadership work together, whatever your combination is. I think that's really cool. I think that's really fun. And I really have been enjoying playing her. She's a hero that the past month I've been playing more of. I kind of took a break with her for a little while. And she's, I think, pretty much forever a top 20 hero. I mean, she's just so incredibly good and fun and has that replayability. So number 12 is Spider-Woman. Number 11 is a hero I made a reference to a little while ago, a Guardian hero, and that is Groot. Now, Groot was one of those weird heroes where the game, I think, wanted you to be protection Groot, right? Everyone saw that stat line of 3 protection or 3 defense. It was like, obviously he's a protection hero. With the whole, you know, tokens where it stops him from taking damage, they was figuring, oh, it's protection. So it wouldn't work well in solo. And with the cards that have come out, and focusing on a Justice Groot, right? So that you can flip down to get more growth counters on him. He's mind-blowingly good, right? You can thwart for a ton with a Justice Groot because you can get 10 counters on it. You can do insane amounts of damage. When you have to make a final push, you can do that damage and then just keep getting hit and do normal damage attacks and do well with Groot. I mean, he's really good in Justice, and it has changed my mind to how he should be played from protection. I think protection makes a lot of sense in multiplayer, but for solo, Justice Groot is phenomenal. He works incredibly well. He's a lot of fun, and honestly, you know, he's gonna probably stay up here for a while because it's a really cool deck to play. Until I get through that, if I can't figure out a really good leadership or aggression deck with him, I'll probably slide down a bit. But man, Justice Groot is really good and really fun to play. All right, we made it to the top 10. This is it, the Big 10. And a lot of these heroes, I truly love, and I think most of them have been, probably about half of them have been in the top 10 for a while now. So we'll see where the other half ends up. But let's start with number 10. One of, I think, a hero that is always justice based at first, and then people that were smarter than me realized she's really good at protection, and she has a really good protection deck, and then she has a really good aggression deck, it turns out. And now they're coming out with, or they came out with shield cards that really help her out, and that's Black Widow. Prep cards were like the thing with Black Widow, right? That's what you wanted to focus on. Well, guess what? Now they have shield, and she is phenomenal with them. She was always good at justice. People figured out really good protection decks with her, and she was phenomenal with that. She's so incredibly good. And her design is so much fun. It's continuously one of the most enjoyable experiences I have in this game. And she slid a little bit because, again, it was only justice, and then protection came about, and now the shield builds have come out and really bumped her up. Like I said, I think she's always been kind of in the top 10, and I actually see her moving up on this list, not down, because she's so much fun still, because of the new life with the shield cards. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy playing her. Yeah, she's great. I'm a big Black Widow fan, and yeah, I want to get more plays in with her, to be honest. But 10 for the foreseeable future is probably as low as she's going to get. I actually expect her to get up higher. So number 10, Black Widow. Number 9 is a core box hero. I think it's the last core box hero, if I'm not mistaken. Captain Marvel. She is stupidly strong. Her card draw is insane. She can do a ton of damage, and there's a good rush deck to beat Expert Ronin with her. She's strong, and she works in any aspect, right? I like aggression with her because I just feel like I should just attack, and just, ruthless aggression, more or less, on people. But she works all right in justice. She's not bad. She works all right in leadership and protection. I haven't gotten her to work yet. I'm just not a good protection player, but I really enjoy her in aggression, and I think there's different builds within aggression you can do with her that's pretty cool. Either focusing on allies, focusing on sheer attack, whatever it is. But I really have always enjoyed Captain Marvel. I think she's a lot of fun. I see that a lot of the cards that come out because of aerial trait continue to support her. That's a key word that they were focusing on, or trait, I should say, that they were focusing on for a while. A lot of that stuff has helped her, and it continues to support her. So Captain Marvel, just a lot of fun. At number 9, it's probably going to move up because our next one, number 8, is probably going to keep falling down. He started off around here, and he's going to fall down. And that's Spider-Ham. Spider-Ham is just Spider-Ham. I mean, playing him is a lot of fun right now because he's so overly powered strong. He's so strong. I argue he's the strongest non-mystic hero in the game. The fact that you can get 2-3 basically wild resources on him that carry over to the next round, so that you get like another 2 or 3, and you basically have like 4 to 6 wild resources to spend, is insane. I mean, it's absolutely insane. He's a hero that wants to take damage. His hero cards are insanely strong. The basic gray cards he plays off of for Web Warrior cards really build him out well and make him really strong. He's so strong. The problem is he doesn't really work great in any aspect. Well, not that he doesn't work great. It doesn't really matter what aspect he is, I should say. You just want to play his cards. You just want to play some of the basic Web Warrior cards, and that's it. Like, whatever aspect you are, you throw a couple of them in and just have fun with it, I guess. And because of that, I'm going to get bored of him. He's going to slide down this list. He's probably going to go pretty far down this list, to be honest. But right now, I'm enjoying that he can easily take out standard heroes like Loki and Ronin. Not Ronin. Loki, what the other one? Thanos, right? A lot of those standard heroes that are pretty hard, he's having a pretty easy time taking them out. So it's been fun for that way of doing things, but I just don't see him lasting that long. So honestly, Spider-Ham's probably going to slide way down this list. Number 7 is a hero that it took me a long time to figure her out, but once I did, I think she's fantastic, and that's Miss Marvel. I like the whole, you play an event that's attack, thwart, protection, whatever, and then you can exhaust her to bring it back. Like, it allows for good combos, especially when you get her engines going. I like all the Persona cards. I think they work well with her. She's pretty good at flipping, even in solo, especially on Justice. There's a good way to balance her out. Aggression, she's really strong. She's just I think an overall really well balanced hero, and um, because they're always coming out with new and unique event cards that are out there, and that's what her whole kit is based off of. Cards continuously come out to support her and make her more interesting, right? Make her different, let you do different builds with her. So I really like Miss Marvel. I think she'll always be a top 10 hero for me. She's a lot of fun. I also enjoy the comic books too of her. So yeah, Miss Marvel, big fan of her. That's number 7. Number 6 is one of my favorite heroes in all of Marvel, and that is Ghost Spider. I was always really hyped for Ghost Spider. I really love Ghost Spider. I think she's awesome. I haven't gotten tickets to the multiverse to work as well as I want to. Hopefully I do in the future. We'll see. But I really like Ghost Spider. My biggest worry is that I've played her in protection. She's phenomenal in protection. I played her in other aspects, and I haven't gotten them to work that well yet. Because the entire way her kit works, right, is that when you defend, you could play an attacking card when she exhausts, right? So you can play a card when she exhausts. So basically, when I'm defending, I can do an attacking card, attacking event, and at least one of hers, and that mechanic is cool, and it feels like it kind of forces you into protection. It feels like that's what you should be doing most of the time. It doesn't have to be, but it's what feels most natural, I guess. So I do want to try her in other aspects more. I've tried her a little bit in Justice and a little bit in Aggression, like 4 games each of those. And it's fine, but I feel like it's still just protection makes the most sense. So when I want to play protection, I'll probably take her out and try her. But I want her to be higher up on this list, and I want her to last high up on this list. I just don't know if she will. I hope she does. I have a gut feeling she's going to slide a bit, but I really like her hero. I really like her character overall as a whole. So we'll see. But anyway, number 6, Ghost Spider. All right, this is it. Top 5 time. Here we are. So number 5 is probably, besides Doctor Strange, is probably the most controversial one on my list. Because a lot of people think this hero is not good at all. I think she's phenomenal. I think she's a lot of fun. And that's Valkyrie. I love Valkyrie. I love Valkyrie in solo. I love Valkyrie as a non-aggression deck as well. I think a lot of people have been talking about Valkyrie in the sense that she's only good multiplayer with a lot of minions, right? And that's all she is just a minion slayer because of the way Deathglow works, right? You attach Deathglow, you knock that minion out because you're so strong, attach it to the next minion, knock them out because you're so strong, right? And keep reading up over and over and over. And they believe this is the only way to play her. And I don't agree with it. Obviously, it's a strong way to play her for sure, but she works well against minions, and she works well against the villain too. Now, to me, the fun puzzle is knowing when to attach Deathglow and when not to. Because a lot of people I've seen that play her attach Deathglow right away to the villain, but then need to flip down to get Deathglow off. I think that you should actually be holding on to Deathglow a bit until a minion comes out, or you're ready to get the villain from stage 1 to stage 2 or stage 2 to stage 3, right? And it's more of a timing game than that, right? Because when you defeat a villain with Deathglow, that's how you take a lot of threat off, right? When you have somebody or a minion, not just a villain, but an enemy with Deathglow, then you take a threat off. When you want to defend against a certain enemy, you attach Deathglow to him, and you can defend without exhausting, right? There's so many possibilities with Valkyrie, and that's what I like about her. I like that it's a timing game of, it's not supposed to be you just always attach Deathglow all the time, unless there's a lot of minions, right? Then yeah, knock them down. But you have to figure out exactly when to attach it, because you don't want to be caught in a situation where Deathglow is here, but you need it there, right? And to me, that's the fun puzzle of Valkyrie. It's an interesting game of how to play her. And again, she's obviously good in aggression, but she works well in Justice, right? To keep the threat down, because her kit doesn't have the best threat removal, but her attacking is naturally really good. She's strong at attacking, so you can lean into being good with threat. You can lean into leadership with her, right? Getting other allies out there to help you out. It works well. Protection, I don't think is ever going to work well with her, but that's okay. But no, I think she's a really interesting and unique hero, and I think it's because of the Deathglow mechanic that I enjoy her. I enjoy that puzzle of when is the right time to attach Deathglow, not where am I going to attach Deathglow, right? I think that's the difference. So anyway, number 5 is Valkyrie. I think she stays in the top 10. She might slide down and up a little bit, but she stays in the top 10 for me. Number 4 is Spider, who I was really worried about at first, and then I played, and I love her, and every time I play her more and more and more, I love her more and more and more. And what I like about her is the whole resource generator with her upgrade cards is pretty cool, but her kit is good. What makes her really interesting and strong is that the cards, right, are can be used to work on other aspects. So what I mean is, you could focus on whatever aspect you are, protection, aggression, leadership, whatever, and you're using her cards to pay for those more expensive aspect cards, right? There's a lot of 4-cost aspect cards that don't get played because is it really worth it, right? 5-cost allies in certain aspects, is it really worth it? Well, she can generate enough resources that it does become worth it, right? She's incredibly strong at that. She's incredibly good at that. So I actually really like Spider, and I think she stays because she works well in any aspect, and it's not all about her hero kit, right? This is a really nice change of pace where a lot of these heroes just have overly powered hero kits. Yes, you want to get her upgrades out there, but her upgrades are more or less there to support the other cards. And she has some strong event cards, obviously, but the main thing is her upgrades, and they're there to support the other cards. I think that's really cool, and that will have her lasting on my list for a long time. All right, top 3 time. Number 3, we talked about Ant-Man. Let's get to her, his counterpart, and that's Wasp. I know Wasp is like this weird, like, redheaded stepchild where people love Ant-Man and just don't like Wasp as much. And they have the kind of the same mechanic, but they play really differently. I mean, they honestly do play differently. I don't view them as the same hero whatsoever. I treat them as very different heroes. And I think Wasp is really cool. I like her, growing big mechanic, right? With those cards, it gives you +2. I like the Red Room training card. I like her helmet. Like, I like a lot of her cards. I think they're really strong. I think they're really good. I think she works really well in protection, aggression, and justice. I couldn't get leadership to work with her. I just wasn't my strong suit, I guess. But I think she works well in 3 out of the 4 aspects. I think she's really cool in those aspects. I think she's fun. I like that I can divide up threat. I can divide up attack. That makes her more versatile, especially when I just need to do small amounts of damage to a bunch of minions, or I need to ping a damage off of here but do damage there, right? I like that. I like that option's there. And I think she's a fun hero. I think she's a lot of fun. Again, I've said this before, when I was picking between her and Ant-Man, because naturally they came out at the same time, they have the same big and small card mechanic that you think of them one and the same, I always go with Wasp. But more recently, I've been trying to think of them as very different heroes. I always thought of them as different heroes and different mechanics, but I'm trying to think of them as like vastly different, and that's helped get Ant-Man out to the table more. But I love Wasp. I think Wasp is fantastic. I think she'll remain a top 5 hero for me for the foreseeable future. All right, so now we have 2 and 1. And if you're keeping track, there's a new one and there's a bit of an older one here. So let's dive into this. Number 2 is one of the newer heroes, and she is so strong, and I love the way she works, and that's Ironheart. Ironheart is amazing. I love the 3 versions of Ironheart. I love playing that game of how quickly, without compromising the board state, you can get her to be upgraded to version 2, version 3, right? At first, my big worry with her is that it would be so impossible to get the version 3, you would never get there. It's actually maybe a little too easy to get a version 3 for solo. But it's so cool. It's so much fun. And then once she's built out, especially with her upgrades, where you can exhaust an upgrade, do 3 thwart and 3 damage every single round, which is bonkers. Built out, she's incredibly strong. And to me, that's the fun game to play, right? How do you balance handling the villain, handling your board state, and upgrading your versions, right? There's like a few different things to do, and you have to like I said, balance it, right? You have to focus on one at a time, or evenly disperse it, right? Depending on what the game is. And to me, that adds a lot of replayability. It adds an extra layer of nuance that it doesn't get you stuck in a corner where it's like, well, the only thing I can do is upgrade her version, right? And I can only do that, and that's going to hurt me. No, for the most part, you can always decide what to do. And I like that. I think it's a really cool mechanic. I think her mechanic in general is really cool. I really enjoy it. It doesn't hurt that she's really strong and works well in pretty much all aspects. The worst part about her is I'm just focusing on her hero cards, right? Because her hero cards are so strong, they take priority over pretty much any aspect out there. I do like she has the aerial trait, which makes things a lot easier and better. But yeah, I think she's really fun. I think she's really enjoyable. So anyway, Ironheart's number 2, which leads us to number 1. She's been my favorite for a long time. Actually, since her release. And that's Scarlet Witch. I love Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch's design, when she first came out to this day, was one of those things that just blew me away, right? You can use her cards and lower the cost by getting the encounter deck thinned out, right? By discarding these cards. But it's a double-edged sword, right? Because the acceleration token could come out faster because of this. So it's this weird balance of power, right? It's this weird balance of this game where, yeah, I want to play super strong cards, but does it make the most sense right now? Is it really good? And then as as villains get stronger, right, with their boost icons, right? Some of the weaker heroes are like 2 point something with their boost icons, and now they're getting up to like high 2s, low 3s. Not low 3s, but high 2s. As those boost icons increase, her damage increases, right? She scales with that, with how molecular decay works, right? That card has an opportunity at this point to do what, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage on that card for 3 costs. That's insane. So it's really, really cool in the way she works, how she scales. And I like that interesting decision, right? I like that decision of, do I lower the cost of her cards? Do I manipulate the boost icons? Like, how do I work things? I think it's really cool. I think it's really fun. To this day, the mechanic still kind of amazes me. I really liked how it was implemented, and she's a fun hero to play, and she's a mystic, so she's really strong. But yeah, anyway. Overall, Scarlet Witch, my #1 hero. She's probably going to stay that way for the foreseeable future because I love playing her, and she works well in justice, aggression, leadership, and protection, not so much. But she works really well, and she's a lot of fun to play. So I hope you enjoyed this list. Do me a huge favor. If you made it this far, especially, hit the subscribe button. It really helps out this channel. Really helps me out. Also, scroll down, hit like, and leave a comment. Let me know your top 3, 5, 10, 35. You can list all of them, or let me know your thoughts about my list and what you agree with, what you disagree with. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really appreciate you being here.